Welcome the Honda CB300R. After stretching the Honda CBR250R for 8 years, Honda has finally launched the Honda CB300R in this category. And right off the bat, it is a very attractive looking motorcycle and it's the least powerful one. 30.4 horses, 28 newtons, but how does it feel to ride? Welcome to 2 Men 2 Bikes and let's find it out.
Alright, so we are finally done with the test ride, and the thing that impressed us the most was the looks. I mean, it's absolutely a gorgeous looking bike. There's no denying the fact that it is one of the best looking bike in its segment.
True that. It is designed with the concept of a neo-retro theme. That means it has elements of both the old classics and a modern bike. And if you see Honda's other bike, that is the CB650R and the CB1000R, they also share the same neo-retro design.
And what was even more impressive than the looks was the engine smoothness. I mean, I am actually kind of very addicted. I actually miss that engine smoothness way too much. I wish that engine smoothness was could have been my daily partner in my Apache RR310.
And I thought that my Duke was decently smooth, but after riding the CB300R, I am actually blown away by its smoothness.
I mean, it has that Honda smoothness. The smoothness level is kind of similar to the 200cc bikes, right?
Yeah, even more than that, I guess.
Now, coming to the fact that the thing that I was kind of disappointed was the power figures, because 30 PS, I mean 30 to 31 PS power and 28 Newton meters of torque doesn't sound much.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound much, but specs don't speak everything about the bike, right? When we rode it, I definitely felt that the power and torque were enough, especially because the bike is pretty light at just 147 kilos.
Yeah, exactly. 147 kilos is no joke, because I thought that the Duke 390 was the lightest in this segment, 156 kilos. But then that bike comes at 147 kilos, which is pretty damn amazing.
Yeah, and because of that weight, the bike pulls really good till 100 to 120. Yes, after that, due to the less power, it does not pull as good as your bike or my bike. But on Indian roads, going above 120 is also not safe, right?
But I am pretty sure that bike is going to be a delight to ride in the city. I mean, there's so much power in the low end. The power does lack at the mid range and the high range, especially. I mean, I felt that, but the low end power is very, very good. I mean, it will be a really good bike to ride in the cities, man.
And what do you think about the quality?
Well, I mean, I thought that the Apache RR310 had the best quality, but at the same time, I never ever experienced the Honda's build quality. I mean, considering the fact that this is a CKD bike, it definitely matches to the standard of international brands, international bikes, and the build quality of that bike definitely surpasses the Apache RR310. But at the same time, I really appreciate the build quality of my bike. Means, considering that it's just an Indian manufactured bike, the build quality is really amazing. I mean, there's very little difference between this bike's build and the CB300R's build.
Yeah, your RR310 was definitely very close to CB300 in terms of build quality. Now, talking about ergonomics, that being a naked and my Duke 390 also being a naked, I found that the CB300 was more comfortable than my Duke 390. It was less sportier, but it was still sporty enough, and due to the lightweight and the small compact design, it was even more maneuverable than my Duke 390. I mean, you can just cut through any vehicle in the traffic, filter like crazy on that bike.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, considering the fact that it's a very compact bike, well, that bike is actually something that you can live with on a daily basis. Like, it is very good for daily commuting, and coming to the fact that it is the lightest and it produces less power, I believe that the efficiency is going to be really good. I mean, one can definitely expect a mileage of 33 to 35 easily, right?
Yeah, and from what other reviewers are stating, the mileage is close to 35 to 40. I mean, like that figure is just crosses the margin of 250cc bikes.
Considering all these facts, that bike makes really a lot of sense. But what do you think about the price?
If you ask me, it definitely feels expensive, but it when you compare it to BMW's G310R, at that when you bring that into the equation, I feel that it price definitely high, but not extraordinarily high.
Alright, like you told that the G310R, which cost about 3.5 lakhs, I guess, I'm not sure about that, but like you told, if you compare it to the G310R, then definitely CB300 is a better value for money bike.
That if you bring the other bikes into the equation, like my Duke 390 and your RR310, then it feels expensive. But I still feel that you are paying what you get. You definitely get a lot of equipment. Like, you get fucking SHOWA separate function forks on that bike, which is the first in its segment. And you also get Honda's reliability.
Yeah, but one thing that disappointed me was the number of showrooms, because already the number of showrooms of RR310 is pretty less, right? It is just around 60 to 63 showrooms with service centers, and the TVS is trying its best to increase the service centers, but Honda's is even less. It's just 22 showrooms with service centers, so that does bother me a bit.
If you are considering the bike for touring, then that point is definitely a big no-no if you want to buy it.
And one more thing is that like I told you, concerning the competition, like you told that we have in the competition, we have such amazing bikes such as the RR310, Duke 390, RC390, Dominar 400, which is a very great naked. If you consider all this, then you know what, that bike absolutely feels a bit overpriced.
Yeah, so now let's give our verdict on the bike then.
So which one will you go for? I mean, if you had the option to choose between the CB300 and your Duke 390, which one would you have gone for?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer. My answer will sound a bit diplomatic, so please bear with me. Now, if you are looking for a naked bike under 3 lakh rupees, and you want a bike which will turn heads on the road and will be very unique, then you should go for the CB300R. But if you want performance and other things, then you should go for the Duke 390. And if you are looking for a value for money bike, then go for the Dominar.
So now coming to the comparison with the RC390 and the RR310, well, let me tell you something, that bike is definitely more comfortable than these two bikes, and RC390 being the least comfortable bike, because, well, that's an entirely track focused bike, so we shouldn't actually compare it with that. But you know what, if you're someone who needs a very big bike, which, I mean, absolutely has that great road presence, I mean, it definitely has a great road presence. It definitely turns quite a lot of heads, to be honest. You know, despite for the fact that I absolutely loved the Honda smoothness and all the other factors, I think the RR310 makes the better choice, just because if you're someone who needs that big bike feel, I mean, look at it, it absolutely feels like a fucking big bike. But if you're not looking for that, definitely CB300R is an amazing bike. Yep, that's it. Okay, alright, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Do press the subscribe button. See you in the next one.